Hi everyone, and welcome to this new video on the XRP Ledger, where we'll talk about tokens, how to issue them and to transact with them, and how to hold them in your wallet. So before we go further into the concept of Trustlines, I would like to give you a brief overview of how things work in the real world, because it's going to be similar with the XRP Ledger. So here's the map of the world, and let's say you live in Europe. So most probably you have euro in your bank account, but you are not able to use a currency which is emitted from another country. Algeria, Libya, Kazakhstan, you cannot get tenge in your account, for example, right? Because the reason is that you don't have a bank account with a bank in Kazakhstan. So what you will need to do is that you will need to, for example, travel to Kazakhstan and open a bank account there. And what that means is that you issue a trust. You have a trust with the bank for holding the cash. So you deposit the cash, they have a debt towards you, and you trust them for giving you back the money when you need it. So that's the line of trust that you establish with the bank in Kazakhstan, and that will be the same for any other bank in another country. And so once you have that line of trust, you can use tenge, and you can pay people in Kazakhstan, you can pay people or you can buy stuff, etc. So it works similarly with the XRP Ledger. So with XRP Ledger, we have an issuer account, this concept called issuer account, right? And you have other accounts around it, which will be trusting that issuer. So here, all the accounts here have a public address, starting with an R. You see RABC for the issuer. And let's say that in this example, we'll issue US dollar, USD. Okay, so we'll have Bob, Alice, Charlie, John, trusting that issuer, RABC, for issuing US dollar, So when John could potentially, for example, deposit some cash at the issuer, they would have a positive balance in their account for US dollar. And the issuer would have a negative balance, like a debt towards them, towards John, Charlie, Alice, and Bob. So each account here, John, Charlie, Alice, Bob, they have to create a trust line with the issuer. They have to use a new transaction type called a trust set, and that transaction is issued from the account called, Alice, Charlie, John, those blue accounts, to the issuer. And we'll see that in a minute. Before issuing those trust lines, it's very important to do some settings on the issuer. I've written here the rippling enabled, and that's a very important setting to enable, because then otherwise the accounts will not be able to send money to each other. Rippling simply means that when you have a balance of Bob and John in US dollar, the balance will be automatically adjusted by the issuer. So let's say you have Bob who has $20 in his account and John who has $10 in his account. If Bob wants to send $3 to John, then the balance will be reduced to 17 for Bob and increased to 13 for John. And so the debt basically that the issuer has towards Bob and John will be adjusted. It's just an adjustment of debt. That's all, the rippling. So that happens between two accounts. So let's have a look how it works with the code. Let's go to use XRPL.js to show you how it works. So here is Visual Studio Code. I've created a new file called issue token, and I've done the same thing as before. So I've started to create a client connecting to the testnet. I make sure to connect the client and to disconnect the client at the end. And we'll write the code in between. So the first steps to do, as I said, is to configure the account and to enable rippling. So enable rippling on the issuer. And then we'll have to issue a trust set from the holder accounts like John, Charlie, etc. And finally, we'll be able to create a payment from the issuer to the holder accounts. Okay, same thing. It's like you deposit cash, for example, then the bank account will credit your account for you. So that works the same. So to enable the rippling on the issuer, we'll use the account set transaction. That type of transaction allows you to modify the settings of your account. And the one we need, as we saw in the diagram, is rippling. So let's start with that. So we'll have the account set, and we'll use the type from XRPL.js account set equals, same thing, we need an account first. For that, we'll use the first wallet. Actually, I've generated some with the faucet. So before that, actually, let's create those wallets using the XRP.js. So let's do like const issuer equals wallet from seed. See, and there we take the seed one from the environment I've created. In my .env, I have 3 seeds. So seed 1 will be the issuer, seed 2 will be a first holder account, and seed 3 will be a second holder account. And again, that's on testnet, so money XRP doesn't have a real value there. Okay, so we need to import also the wallet from the XRPL library. Let's do the same for seed 2 and seed 3. So holder 1, that will be wallet from seed. And same thing, we have the process.env.seed2, otherwise empty string, and holder 2 equals wallet from seed process.env seed3. All right, so now we'll be able to use them. So for this, for the account set, we are configuring the issuer account, right, to enable rippling. So I'm going to use the issuer and the address. The transaction type is going to be an account set. And here we're going to use the flag. This is where we set flags. That's how you configure basically the settings. So to enable that, I think XRPL.js has also some enums. And the one which we need is ASF default ripple. It's enabling rippling. That's all we need for that. Let's then sign the transaction and complete and send it to the ledger. So we'll do like a response equals await client.submit and wait. We'll send the transaction account set and we'll use the autofill to true, and the wallet will be the issuer. That's it. And just let's console log the response. That's all we need to do, enabling rippling. Let's start the program. Of course, in index.ts, I'm using issue token, right? I've imported it. That's what we are gonna use, npm start. We are submitting the account set to the ledger. It's gonna take a couple of seconds, and we should have the response right after. Here it is, validated true, test success, we have it, we have the hash. We can go to an Explorer to check it. Here we are on the Explorer for testnet. Let me type the hash of the transaction. We have the account set flag, default ripple. That's my account. If we look at it, you can see we have the account set here. First payment was to enable the account. And we see the default ripple also here on the right side. Now let's go back to the code. Second step is to issue the trust set, right, from the holder account to the issuer. I'm gonna just comment this out because we don't need it anymore, the account set. So same thing, the trust set, we can use the trust set type from the XRPL library. The account will be holder1.address. Transaction type is trust set, and then we have the limit amount. This is where that's important. So I'm gonna rewrite it with you as I have the autocomplete set up here. But we need 3 things in this limit amount field. The currency, that's the currency we want to trust the issuer with. So let's do USD, for example. The issuer, we need to define it. So issuer.address. And finally, the value. So this is how many tokens, the maximum amount of tokens we are allowed to hold in our account. You know, so a high value means that you really trust the issuer. If it's a low value, you're not sure, and potentially you want to first check the issuer how it behaves, and then you can of course update that trust set by resubmitting another trust set transaction with a higher value. So let's say we want to hold only 10,000 USD in that account maximum. And another thing we want to set, which is important for this one, is no flag, is a no rippling. So no ripple. Basically, this is useful when an account trusts several issuers with the same currency. You don't want your balance to be changed sometimes when a payment is done between multiple parties involving different issuers. You could potentially see your balance decreasing without wanting it. So it's important for all the holders' account to enable this no ripple setting here. The issuer has the rippling enabled, the holders typically not. So let's do the same thing. We need to sign and submit. So let's do response again. Response 1 we can do await client.submit and wait. We pass the trust set, we autofill to true, and we pass the wallet. And this time the wallet will be the holder 1 wallet. Okay, again, that we created above this one here with the seed number 2. Let's console log the response 1. Let's resubmit the transaction, npm start. Here it is, we have the transaction done, test success. This is a trust set. So we have done this so far, we have done enabling, for example, from Bob to the issuer. We have done this trust line, the rippling is enabled. The last step would be to issue a transaction from the issuer, a payment transaction, to do a payment from issuer to Bob. Payment here. That's what we're going to do in the last step. I'm going to comment again the trust set here. We don't need it anymore. This is a one-time operation. And then we can do a payment. So let's do const payment, payment type from the XRPL again. We import the payment from the XRPL. The account is this time the issuer. Again, we are sending payments from the issuer. The transaction type is a payment. We need to define the destination, which is the holder1.address, and the amount. So if it's an issued currency, again, this is an object. So we need to define the currency, that's US dollar. We need to define the value, which is how many tokens we want to send. So let's say 55, send 55 USD. And the issuer is issuer.address. So before I send that payment, actually, let me show you on an Explorer the account, the holder 1 account. I'm pasting the address here. So I have the trust set transaction that we did before. We have only 100 XRP that came from the faucet, and that's all. The reserve, note that the reserve is 12 XRP here because we have 10 XRP to enable the account and 2 XRP for the trust set. Each object created on the ledger requires 2 XRP as a reserve. So let's now do the payment to be able to receive XRP. We have nothing yet. Let's do the payment. I'm going to clear my terminal. I'm going to actually console log the payment. Let me do an npm start. We are going to send the payment from the issuer to the holder. Oops, no, actually, I forgot to sign and submit to the ledger. So client.submit and wait. Pass the payment, and we autofill to true, and we pass the wallet, which is the holder, sorry, the issuer. And of course, let's console log the response too. It's going to take a few seconds again for the transaction to be validated. It's done. Let's go back to the Explorer. Let's refresh the page. And here it is. So we have the payments now of $55 USD. We have, you see the XRP balance, but we have one other balance, USD, 55. That's it. That's how it works. You can, of course, make other payments to the same holder. So let's do, for example, 0.5 to see that we'll have a balance increased. Clear that. npm start. Transaction is successful. Let's go back to the Explorer. I'm refreshing the page. and now the balance is 55.5. We have again increased the balance. So you can do now as many payments as you need from the issuer to the holder. Let's do a trust set. Now let's do another payment. Actually, let's do a trust set with the holder number 2. Okay, so then we can transact the dollars between holder 1 and holder 2. Let's go back to this spot. I'm gonna uncomment this. Let's go and comment the payment for now. Actually, no, what we can do both at the same time. See, so we'll have the trust set first, and then we'll do a payment to the holder 2. So here, holder 1, holder 2, the only thing we need to change is the holder 2 wallet. And actually the account here also, holder 2. That's it. We issue the trust line from holder 2 to the issuer. And then as a second step, the payment will do, the destination will be holder 2. And we'll send, let's say, $200 there. I think we should be good. Let's clear the terminal and run npm start again. So we are creating the trust set from holder 2 to the issuer, and then we'll do a payment from issuer to holder 2. Trust set is done. Now the payment. The payment is done. So let me take the address of the holder 2. Go back to the Explorer. Here we have also $200 as a balance. So now let's say I want to send from holder 1 to holder 2. Now I can transact with my issued token. So I'm going back to the code. What I'm going to do is comment the trust set. I'm going to go back to the payment, and this time we're going to use the account from holder 1 to holder 2. All right, this is it. We want to send only, let's say, $10. Here, the wallet will need to change when in the submit and wait. That would be the holder 1 wallet. That's the one signing the transaction. Okay, so we should move again the holder 1 wallet. Let me take back the address. We have 55.5, and we should move down to 45.5. Let's try again. Okay, I have the payment only. That's good. npm start. All right, payment is success. Let's go back to the Explorer. We'll refresh. And now we have 45.5. $10 have been deducted from this balance. See, this payment here, $10. And the other one has been credited. So if we quickly go back to the other one, I think that's it. 210. That's it for the issuer, for issuing an account, issuing a token. Last thing I quickly want to explain to you is if you want to have a currency which has more than 3 characters, you will need to do something a little bit different for the currency denomination. Let me show you right now in the code. So let's say you want to issue a token which is called, I don't know, like my super token. Okay, that has more than 3 characters. What you need to do in the trust set, you need to change the currency denomination. For more than 3 characters, there is a special encoding for that. All right, so as I said, there is a special encoding. So for non-standard currency code, which have more than 3 characters, we need to encode them to a 40 characters hexadecimal string. You know, that's that would look something like this, and we would need to pad some zeros at the end if the string is not long enough. So I'm going to show you quickly how to do this with the XRPL library. Here, I think the XRPL library has a tool called convert string to hex. So we'll type USD here, and one thing we need to do is to use the pad end function up to the length of 40, and we pad it with 0. So we're going to have some 0 added at the end of the string, and we can I think we need to do a 2 uppercase as well. That's how you need to convert the currency. And actually here, this is not USD that we need to write. This is my super token. Here it is. And then we can issue the trust set. So let me do that right now. Actually, I'm going to extract this to a const. Do it this way. My token equals my super token. I'm going to pass it here. My token. And then I'm going to do a payment as well from the issuer to the holder 2, let's say. Okay, so that currency, that would be same thing. That would be convert string to X, my token, bad end, 40, length of 40 added with 0, and to uppercase. That's it. And of course, the wallet, we need to update it to the issuer. We should be good to go. And so now the holder 2 wallet will have some my super token in its balance. This is an npm start. Of course, we use the same issuer, but you can use another issuer account for this specific token. I think it's better to have separate issuer for each currency. The payment is done. We have a take path try. Of course, I didn't submit the transaction, so that's not good. Let me do that again. I'm going to clear that and run npm start again. So first we have the trust set. This is done, success, and then we'll have the payment right after. Done. Let's go back to the issuer. So I'm going to copy. Sorry, let's go back to the holder 2, which is the destination, this one. In the Explorer, I think I will just refresh it. I'm already on the holder 2. And now we have 2 balance, and we have the USD that we issued before, we created before, and my super token, which has a balance of 10. This is it. I hope that was useful. Let me know if you have any questions in comment, and see you in the next video. Bye.